I don't know. There we go. Wow, that was slow. That was slow. Hanging in limbo there, Nicholas, for quite some time, waiting for the live icon to pop up, and I feel like uh, we're gonna be in limbo for a lot of this day, Nicholas. It's going to be a long night, and I am very thankful for the program today to be a great distraction for myself, a great distraction for hopefully everyone that's watching, and you know what? I usually have something quippy, something funny to say. Share a little anecdote. I
You
just want to
do.
get to it, Nicholas. I just want to get to the good stuff. How do I look? How do I sound? By the way,
You
do I
sound
sound
great.
good?
You look
I,
great. Anytime you wear a scally cap, you're in good shape.
I moved the microphone up a little bit. I raised my monitors. They're higher up now. The camera is coming now at a slightly more flattering angle to
Oh,
hide. Even though I've lost a few chins, there's still a couple left over. I know I said I wasn't gonna do some wily banter, but here we are, Nicholas.
can't help
Here we
yourself.
are. No, I can't. I can't. Especially when there's a house full of Halloween candy. Am I right? Am I right,
Oh
Nicholas?
my goodness. I
Yeah.
bet. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Damn.
boy. And my daughter knows every single piece she has. I can't steal a piece. She knows. She knows.
She's a smart kid. Takes
She
after
is.
her
But
mother.
yeah, fuck you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, Geeks Worldwide Radio and the Dork Shared Universe proudly present to you the greatest, and I mean the greatest, podcasting team in the world. He's the ball busting Nick Friar. I am your supreme dictator and tyrant for life, Dr. Joe Gilmore. Eat that for brains, Nicholas. And together we are the TLDR Comic Book Club, baby.
Eat that for brains is a new one. I've never heard that one before. So that's I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
look that
yeah,
one up
yeah.
later.
It's on the fly, Nicholas.
Oh,
You know.
okay. So you made that up. Okay, got it.
Oh,
Good.
on the fly, baby. That's how I operate.
Speaking of on the fly, we never know when we're going to have our fireside chats. We tend to kind of book those on the fly. Those kind of come out of nowhere. Obviously, in spooky season, this go around, we were able to just talk about books that we wanted to recommend for our listeners on the show. We made sure to go out of our way to not try and schedule some fireside chats, but we're gonna have more at some point down the line. You never know when they're going to be because, like we said, we never know when they're going to be. So make sure you subscribe to one of our audio channels. You can listen to our mainline stuff there, our Solicit, like we're doing this week. You can listen to what's new there as well. If you want to watch us on YouTube or on X or / Twitter or Instagram, you can by all means, but subscribe to us on our audio channels because that's the only place you can get our fireside chats. Those are conversations with creators across the industry. And when you subscribe, make sure you leave a rating and review. 5 stars only. Otherwise, you're going to learn the real meaning of Backcracker. And this week, you do not want to learn that meaning. That is for damn sure because it's going to be extra uncomfortable. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Catching up, Joe, because we got a lot to get to. We got our Solicit for November this week. It's almost time for us to get to our gift guide, to get to the floppies. We're doing our prep work, and by we, I mean you. But from a catching up standpoint, I nothing significant on mine that I wanted to dig into. Did you have anything that you want to delve into before we get rolling with what's new?
I caught up on the domain because public domain drops this week, and I
Mm-hmm.
caught up on Guilt Frame, written
Oh,
by Matt Kent and along with his mother Marjorie Kent,
that's right.
because issue 3 of that came out, which I will speak to briefly
Ooh.
in the coming moments. I have some things to say about that, Nicholas.
Oh,
But yeah, I didn't do a ton of reading. It was a very, very busy weekend. Very busy weekend.
a lot of teddy bear stuff to do.
Violet had a doubleheader soccer game that I got to go to,
Mm-hmm.
which was great. A lot of yard work. The leaves are falling, Nicholas.
Oh,
Right,
is that what
right.
happens? This time of year?
I guess I know why they call it fall. Am I right? You know,
Oh
all them
boy.
leaves.
Leave
I
it
got
in the intro, brother. That's where you
I,
thrive. No, no
I've
more
got
jokes
20
aside for that.
bags. I got like 20 something bags of leaves out in front of my house right now.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
you see my house, that big
awful.
ass tree in the front yard, and then I don't know if you remember the big ass tree in the backyard.
I
It's
do.
fucking ridiculous.
Oh,
Absolute
that
mess.
is terrible.
And there's
Oh,
still plenty more leaves to drop from that some bitch. So um
no, thank you.
busy. And I drank a little, I may have had a little too much Jack Daniels honey whiskey
Oh,
while watching the Patriots absolutely just look
oh,
like the worst team at football.
That took a turn that I did not expect. I thought you were going to say from the soccer game, but because I know that can do that to somebody. But good to know. It's the Patriots. Okay, understood. All right, we got a lot of stuff to break down that's coming out this week before we get to the entirety of the month of November. We always start things out with Marvel, a ton of stuff. Some books that I flat out did not expect to come out this week. But why don't you get right to it, Joe?
Yeah, surprisingly too. Like this is the season where not a ton of number ones come out because of all the holidays, right?
Mm.
With Thanksgiving coming up. So surprising, Marvel only has 2 number ones dropping this week, but they make up for it, Nicholas.
Yeah.
They make up for it. So starting the week of November 6th, 2024, we have The Ultimates issue 6, X-Men issue 7, which was an excellent issue, The Avengers issue 20, Aliens vs. Avengers issue 2, X-Force issue 5. That's a series I got to get caught up on. Because is it X-Force or is it X-Factor that's Mark Russell?
That's X Factor.
Oh, X-Factor. That's the one I got to catch up on. I highlighted the wrong book, Nicholas. So we have X-Force issue 5 and X-Factor issue 4, Venom War issue 4, Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood issue 4, Venom War Spider-Man issue 4, Spider Society issue 4, Blood Hunters issue 4. This is the Bob Yor week from Marvel. We have Star Wars The Battle of Jakku Insurgency Rising issue 4, Kid Venom issue 3, Ahsoka issue 5, Spider-Man Homeroom Heroes issue 2, and then the 2 number ones that I was alluding to just a few moments ago is Kahori Reshaper of Worlds issue 1. This is written by Ryan Little, with art by Arahoni David, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead issue 1, written by Andrew Wheeler, with art by Corella Borriella.
Yeah, I might actually go back and check these 2 out. The Kahori one snuck past me. That's a character that was, I believe she was created in the latest What If. In
Yes.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead, I saw that and I was like, oh, I might read this. Didn't give it a look because there were quite a few other number ones and other books that were just too large of a priority for me this week. And a couple of them were actually in DC, which is where we're going to go next. Speaking of, I feel like recently, obviously the absolute stuff is real in you and I, and the all in stuff is real in you and I, but I feel like there's DC for us on the show is having a little more traction recently. And that's not to say Marvel's necessarily taken a step back, because there's still plenty that we've been talking about on the Marvel front as well. It's really like they've just both been added. It makes, life for us like, oh, whoa, is us that we have to read more comics, but we have like more to balance outside of the indies, because obviously we can get very indie heavy on the show. But from DC this week, we actually have 3 books that we want to break down. Action Comics 1074, Poison Ivy issue 27, Birds of Prey issue 15, Shazam issue 17, Plastic Man No More issue 3. That doesn't sound as good, but there is an exclamation point. My Adventures with Superman issue 6, Your Adventures with Superman issue 6, Their Adventures with Superman issue 6, going for the Damian week.
Our Adventures with Superman issue 6.
There you go. Okay, broke that there. DC Horror presents Creature Commandos issue 2, Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries issue 11, and then we got a few number ones we want to get to, but there is one ongoing title that you wanted to discuss, none other than Batman.
This might be so Batman issue 154. This is Chip Zdarsky's last arc, his final arc on the Caped Crusader. And it's bittersweet as always. Chip's got a lot on his plate. He's doing a ton of things, and he's had a great run on Batman. And I've got to tell you, this last arc, and especially this issue in particular, is my favorite Batman issue that he's written.
Wow.
It is because there was a lot of it was a lot of the fail safe stuff, right? That was a big chunk of what Chip was doing, and now what we're getting is we're getting Batman, we're getting Jim Gordon, we're getting a lot of Detective Bullock. We had a death in the last issue of a very significant character, and we're seeing the fallout from that and where the story is going forward from here. This is what I love most about Batman is the detective stuff. It's when Batman is doing that, he's analyzing the clues, He's trying to, put the pieces of the puzzle together, right? That's my favorite type of Batman story, and that's what Chip's giving us here. And not only just in this issue, but it looks like in this final arc, it is very, it's got that nice noir feel to a crime story, that I love. So this was an absolutely excellent issue, and I go, this is hands down the best issue Chip has written for Batman. Now, unfortunately, Jorge Jimenez is not going to be available to do much of the art for this final arc, because his art on this series has been outstanding. But
Damn.
I can't remember the artist's name, but the art was tremendous, and it had a sort of a darker gothic feel to it. That, like I said, that nice sort of 1940s noir type of setting that I love with my mystery books.
Nice. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. The fact that anytime you can say that about like one of these big two characters, where it's like someone had their best like single issue from a writing standpoint, that's saying a lot about that issue. Just because there's so much other stuff that's similar, that's good, but it's like to have one that stands out above the rest is saying a lot. Then we got a couple first issues from DC that we wanted to hit on. We got Little Batman Month 1, Issue 1 by Morgan Evans and Joe McKell. And then Justice Society of America issue 1 by Jeff Lemire and Diego Orletiu. Did you want to discuss this one? Or I don't know if you gave it a look or not. I did not.
I did not get a chance to read it, but I will, because it's Lemire, right? So you got to read it. I'm just gonna just read the synopsis real quick. Jeff Lemire, Diego Orletegui, perhaps. The new era of the JSA begins here. Longtime fans, favorite characters: Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Jade, Obsidian, Jesse Quick, Hourman, Ted Grant, and Sandman are all back on the roster as DC's first superhero team faces the greatest and most personal challenge yet. Will Golden Age ideals hold true in a world recovering from the events of absolute power? That in and of itself doesn't give a lot away, other than like, okay, here are the characters we're going to focus on, but it's Lemire, right? So, and he's got a great flair, in his take on superheroes. Like I love the Black Hammer series. So I'm looking forward to this, and I bummed that I didn't get a chance to read it today.
Well, I will say to like you telling us the characters and then having it be Lemire to me actually says a lot in the sense of we're getting a great writer and
Well, I
now
meant
he's
plot
working
wise, you know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
No,
Yeah.
I 100%. Like it doesn't say it. You're absolutely right on that end. But on the end that I'm looking at is like you're getting a great writer dealing with characters like some of the names we know if you've watched certain shows, if you read the comics for just a long friggin' time. But there's plenty of characters here just like outside of Hawkman and Hawkgirl, it's not that Sandman, not the one that you're thinking of. Ted Grant, I mean, like I only know about him, I think, from I learned about him from the Arrow show. So it's like you don't have these, like they say, fan favorites, like from the 50s maybe or something like that. So he's
And
going to have a lot of room.
I think that's the flair that Lemire brings to this, because Black Hammer had that golden age feel to it, both in look and in
Yeah,
storytelling, right?
great call.
And so taking sort of like, and it tells you right there in the, it hints to it there in the synopsis. Will Golden Age ideals hold true, right? So I think it's just going to have the look and feel of that sort of golden age of comics, but with probably modern storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely. Then there are two other number ones that we wanted to get to. I'm going to go first here. Batgirl, issue 1, Tate Bromble and Takeshi Miyazawa. I am taking dibs on this one, Joe. We did talk about this beforehand. I wanted to make sure you weren't this wasn't on your radar. I didn't think it necessarily would be, but I think it will be after I talk about it on the show at some point down the line. It's looking like this is going to be a 6-issue story. If you're a Cassandra Cain fan like I am, if you are a Lady Shiva fan like I am, you need to pick up this book. You need to pick up the first issue of this series because we're going to be getting this contentious mother-daughter story. It starts off right away with that, and there is zero trust between these two characters, nor should there be, at least on one half of this relationship. There shouldn't be. I loved the internal monologue. And you guys, if you've been listening to us for a while now, you know I can be very critical of internal monologue. I think it can be overdone, and it was perfect here, very minimal, and it was well paced too. We got some awesome action, a great dynamic between these two characters, very uncomfortable feeling. I'm very excited with how this ended, and just the entirety of that first issue. Very promising going into this 6-issue arc.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, I thought about it for a second, but I knew I go, this is gonna be a Nick book. I can feel it. So I put my focuses on Batman 154, and then the other book that is the number one this week that's coming out, and it's part of the All In initiative, if you will.
Hmm.
Absolute Superman issue 1, written by Jason Aaron with art by Rafa Sandoval. And first thing I want to say is the art is absolutely tremendous.
Oh yeah.
And so we've discussed Absolute Batman, which we both enjoyed, and then Absolute Wonder Woman, which I think kind of blew us both away because
Hmm.
we didn't know what to expect from it. And to me, Absolute Superman was very similar to Absolute Wonder Woman in the sense that we got sort of a unique retelling of the origin story,
Yep.
right, in both issues. Whereas in Absolute Batman, it was a little bit more, you get right off the bat, we're sort of dealing in a different universe here with this particular Batman, but like it was more grounded in the present, what was going on, right?
Hmm.
Whereas these two issues, Wonder Woman and Superman, were more, I just love how they were constructed, right? We get this awesome retelling of the origin story without it feeling stale or like, oh yeah, here we go again. But then both issues, when it brought it back to the present, very brief but very impactful, right?
Yeah.
And there's a mystery to these two characters that are fucking older than I am, Nicholas. As people don't know, I'm an old man. Um, and so I love that, right? Because that's always the complaint, right? Especially with Superman. Oh, he's boring, blah 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 blah. There's nothing new there. How can you? Well, Jason Aaron does it. He gives you I don't want to. There's something I want to say, but I won't because it'll spoil it. I'll tell you afterwards. Like,
Okay.
there's just a dynamic with the origin that I love what Jason Aaron did.
Hmm.
And I
Well,
don't want to say what that is because I think it'll give it away just in sort of like the way that it's presented, because I want those that are watching and listening, when they read Absolute Superman for the first time, to go, oh, that's what he was talking about. Yeah, that was brilliant. I love how he did that.
there's a lot to like about this. I genuinely feel, Joe, that if this was Superman's actual origin story, he would be even bigger today. Because we talk about so many different things with that character, and why, like, of a certain era, he's beloved, and he's still beloved now. But I think what we get here would translate more to more people. I'm one of those people. I love the emotion that was added
Mm.
into this. There's a nice twist at the end, and yeah, you mentioned before, like Rafa Sandoval's design for the character. I mean, this was like his art style in general was friggin' awesome. We don't do a lot of ranking on here, and I do think all three of the absolute titles that we've gotten so far have been outstanding. But I want you to think on that for a second, because I'm going to say right now,
Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. That's how I'd rank it.
Superman was your favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, okay.
Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman.
Okay. I went Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. All
Mm,
very good.
yeah.
But Batman to me, like they made the right choice in starting off with Absolute Batman. But all of them were fun. If you haven't checked them out, definitely recommend doing that. But yeah, huge week for DC to kick off November. Let's move over to Image.
All right. So from Image and Skybound, we have Saga issue 70, Gunslinger Spawn issue 37, King Spawn issue 39, The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 100, or keeping it 100, The Sacrificers issue 12, The Scorched issue 35, Public Domain issue 10. So issue 9, right, ended with an absolute like holy shit moment. And then I don't know if you've read issue 10, Nicholas, but this is quintessential Chip Zdarsky. This is, I know, I don't believe you've read Sex Criminals. But this had a very sex criminals feel to it. I'm not talking about just the naughty, perverse stuff that story brings, but the human element, the human emotion. A husband and a wife who are sort of drifting apart and all that, and just like on an emotional level, he absolutely killed it with this issue. So like public domain just somehow, not somehow, just manages to keep getting better and better and better. And it is a tremendous series that we cannot recommend enough. We have I Hate Fairyland issue 17, Free Agents issue 5, Stoneheart issue 7, and then the number one we have this week is a spin-off book. It is Mirka Andolfo's Sweet Paprika, which you have discussed on this program
Yep.
in the past. But this is Mirka Andolfo's Sweet Paprika, Open for Business, issue 1, written by Steve Orlando with art by Emmylou Pilou.
Yes, I think it's Emilio. Not to correct you on that one, but yeah,
Emilio. Oh,
I'm
yes.
I might give that one a look just because I really enjoyed Mirka's work on it. Obviously, that's her title, Steve Orlando. We'll see. I might
Yeah.
give it a look. I'm not certain on it yet. There's a lot to get to from this week still. From Boom, we got Ranger Academy issue 12. We have The Fade issue 1 by Abrea Liangar and Mary Costa. Did not get a chance, either of us, to check that one out. But Boom, number one, you guys know the Doc rule. But the Boom book that we did take a look at, and this was, I think this was the first thing. No, Superman was the first thing that I read this week. Then it
This
was
was the first thing I read.
Something is Killing the Children, issue 0. Of course, we know it's Where the Deladera and James Tynion. I had heard stuff about what, like, from other interviews that Tynan has done about this issue 0, about like what the kind of plan was. And so I had like a level of expectation, like, okay, this isn't gonna be a throwaway thing. This isn't necessarily a gimmick, because we know Tynan is doing so much different shit with the medium. He's found a lot of success in that way. And I'm like, in issue 0, you and I talk all the time, like, what the hell is an issue 0? And not only that, this is an issue 0, and we're already 40 issues into the series. So like, okay, he's taking a big swing. There's got to be something behind this. And I think this was such a smart move. This was so well done. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if other people try to replicate this at some point down the line, because what Tynan does is just, he elevates this. He takes this story and has it take another step, while also still making this an entry point for a lot of people, and can still exist ahead of the first issue. Like, we spend time with Erica, but we're getting to know this other individual that seems to be like a huge player in the Slaughterverse, and I'm very excited. I feel like this is going to propel us into the next arc in a big way when that starts next year.
Yeah, from a story perspective, this is fantastic. It's an absolute excellent issue. Um, just selfishly, I wish it was the first issue of the next arc. I want my Something is Killing the Children, and I want it now. My only picadillo is just make it a one shot. Why do you got to number it number 0, right? Just make it a one shot, because we don't know when issue 41, which essentially, this is and isn't, right? Because if
Mm-hmm.
it's it's brilliant, because it's a chance for people who have never read the book to read it and not feel like, oh, this, because that was the issue I had with Saga, right? Saga was already X amount of issues in and had been out for so long. I'm like, oh, it seems too daunting of a task to start right from scratch. And so it's brilliant in the sense of, like, it's a great entry point, because someone can read this and nothing is like, it's not, you're not overwhelmed. It's like, oh, this is awesome. And then you can go back and pick up volume 1 and you can get caught up, right? We're 40 issues in, you're getting a new book, a new story, and you don't have to have read any of the 40 previous issues to enjoy it. And then it should kickstart, kickstart someone new into reading it. It's like issue 0, just make it a one shot. Give me one shot. Give me a little extra. Give me a little extra meat in there, because I don't know when the next issue is coming out. So this is just me coming from a completely selfish point of view. But being said, Nicholas, right? I love everything about this universe. I love everything about Erica Slaughter, and what we get in this issue is, it's in the synopsis. It tells you, this is the case before where things began from the Archer's Peak, storyline, which was the first 6 issues of this story. So it was a great origin. It was a great throwback, and a great entry point for those coming into it. I feel teased. I want more stuff that he's killing the children, and I want it now. So
I do
that was
too.
that was my only thing, right? Like, I get it, but like, it's me. My annoyance is like with titles that are too long, books that are oversized, and now I got an issue 0 that I got to throw back at the beginning of right. So like, you know what I mean? But that's just me being silly. That shouldn't that doesn't take away from what this book really is.
I think for those who've been waiting for a story that, because this whole last arc has been entry points for new people, this is still that. But for those of you who've been like, "Oh, I want more," I understand what Joe's saying, but I do think this also is like, okay, now we're getting like, this is a tease. This is a start. Like you said, you feel teased. I think you should feel teased. Like this is
Yeah.
the start of what's to come. Hopefully, issue 41 doesn't. We don't get too much of trying to explain who this guy is, because like we read issue 0, you made it a thing. It's meant to be like an important thing. Just don't give me too much rehash on this guy. I mean, like
Just
we've
throw him
only
in there and go
we
with it.
only got so much of him, but like let it. I don't want to backtrack too much on this front.
Yeah,
But
just throw him in there and run with it. Right.
but it was I very much scratched my itch, and I'm also almost caught up on House of Slaughter. I'm reading the Bait arc right now, and I am fucking loving what they've done with that character. Whew, God, that poor kid. But anyways, that brings us to Dark Horse on our list.
Dark Horse. We got some talking to do about Dark Horse here. Let me tell you, what a week they had. Holy cow. To kick things off, we have The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, issue 13, and a large amount of cubed ice. See if people get that Seinfeld reference. Nemesis Rogues. I'm always going to make that reference with Christopher Chaos because it makes me think of Christopher Cross. And a whole lot of cubed ice. Oh, Newman, you daffy bastard. We have Nemesis Rogues Gallery issue 4, Anansi Boys issue 5, From the World of Minor Threats Barfly issue 4, The Witcher Corvo Bianco issue 5, the end of this arc. What an action-packed finale this issue was. Duck and Cover issue 3, Critical Role Vox Machina Origins issue 4, Patra issue 3. We have a couple of number ones here, but before I get to those, I mentioned in my catching up, I read Guilt Frame issue 2. Well, Guilt Frame issue 3 came out. This is the last issue. Now, these issues have been a little oversized, right? So each issue is longer than your traditional. So essentially, they sort of took I would say probably the equivalent of a 5-issue arc and condensed it into 3 issues. So each one was just a little bit longer. And Nicholas, this might be the next book I discuss on a main line.
Nice.
I didn't know what, because I read the first issue and then the second issue actually dropped when I was away in Nova Scotia. So I not only did I forget, like, did it slip past me, but I forgot to even download it. Like I just like when I came home and downloading all the books, I just skipped it. So it's like, wait, I was thinking about it the other day, when is Guilt Frame coming out? And I was like, oh shit, issue 3's out this week. When did issue 2 come out? So anyways, this book just, I was talking about Batman, right? And mysteries. I love good mystery stories. I love a good Sherlock Holmes story. And that's what this book felt like. It felt like a great whimsical Sherlock Holmes story. So I can't wait to discuss that. That again, written by Matt and along with his mother, Marjorie Kent.
Before we get into these first issues, I want to just make a quick note. Critical Role, Vox Machina. That I'm planning on going back and reading some of this stuff that they have over at Dark Horse. You've heard me, like, we had a listener recommend this show to, I think it was me individually. It might have been to both of us, but it definitely is something that you have to watch at some point, Joe. And these are 20 to 30 minute episodes, maybe 25 to 30 minute episodes. Like, you can watch one on your iPad and make time for it. I'm telling you, like, you want a little happiness in your life? You want to mix things up for a change? Watch Vox Machina. Telling you.
Yeah, I'm too busy rewatching Ted Lasso for the third time and having it throw me into emotional fits. Um,
And you can't even get me
so
to watch that one time.
it's a good show. It's a good program, Nicholas.
I watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, "What is the appeal here?" I didn't get it. So
Character development. You gotta dig into it. But you're not a broken man like I am, Nicholas. So it might not appeal to you.
that might be why.
Um, the issue ones that we have this week from Dark Horse, FML, which I will assume is an acronym for "fuck my life," but that's just inference on me.
That's what it means.
Possibly, I don't know. Maybe it means well, no. Uh,
You're good at
FML
that.
issue 1, Kelly Sue DeConnick, and art by David Lopez. We have Assassin's Creed Mirage, A Soar of Eagles issue 1, written by Michael Avon Oming, with art by Mirko Kolak. And then we had a surprising number 1, Nicholas, that we both read, we both loved. And this is written and drawn by an artist I think we both enjoy, who I know I was first introduced to when she worked along Sean Lewis on I think I read Bliss first and you read, and then I read Bliss first and then Coyotes.
You did Coyotes.
Um, yeah. But that's Living Hell issue 1, written and drawn by Caitlin Yarsky. Nicholas, what'd you think?
Oh man, I when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, Caitlin Yarsky!" Like, I got to make sure that I read this before Joe calls dibs on it, so I can at least look at the first issue. But one of the things that I really liked about this was Caitlin Yarsky brought two very interesting types of characters together. You have one who is big into conspiracies, and you have another who is effectively like part of like the largest conspiracy going, especially in this world, and they live under one roof. I was just like as that all kind of like unfolds, there's so many more layers to that in this issue, but that's kind of at the center of things. I was just like this. This has the makings of an awesome series. Like this right now, I'm reading this like this has to turn into a show or a movie or something like that. It just so much potential in this first issue. Quite honestly, if you're picking up only one first issue this week, Living Hell might be the one that you have to do it with. And especially if you're someone who likes stories that have like those scary-ish type elements, but isn't exactly horror, like this is definitely a comic that you need to check out.
Yeah, what I loved about this is, one, the title caught my eye, right? Living Hell. And it works once you read it. You realize like the title is so apropos, because it works on a couple of different levels, right? The living hell of being in a marriage where the husband and wife are just not like. I get the feeling they don't like each other, Nicholas. and they've got a child, and so like that can't be any fun. But then the other aspect of it too, which what I loved about the book, is that you don't necessarily see what's coming until like you talked about this earlier. Like you're not overly fond of too much narration or things like that. It worked very well in
Yeah.
this issue, and I didn't know what to expect from Caitlin Yarsky as a writer. Her art blows me away. I love her art style. It is very unique, and the colors are very vibrant. But I thought she just knocked it out of the park here, with this story, and
Yeah.
it was really well done.
Yeah, it really was an awesome, awesome opening issue. Another opening issue that we got this week is Exit City issue 1 as we move over to Mad Cave. You guys have heard Joe talk about that on the show previously. This is by Mark London and Carl Mostert. And then we got the 4th issue of The Last Wardens. What did you think of this one, Joe?
Oh, excellent! I love this series. This again, right? We're getting something. It's got to be something in the air, Nicholas, because all the books that are dropping this week there's a lot of them are fairly heavy emotionally, and not only do we get that, and we've been getting that steadily, with the last warrants, but this issue in particular, and not just like sadness, right? Because the main character, what's her name, Nicholas? Oh Jesus, senior moment, but she's fighting for her brother, right? She's still fighting when everyone around her is telling her that he's lost, he's a monster, she's still fighting for him. And so you get that, but also there's a lot of anger. Thank you, Danielle Pryor. You're the best, Nicholas.
Hmm.
Right? She's still fighting for her brother, right? It's like Luke, he's the only one that still sees good in Darth Vader, right? She's the only one that can see this monster that is tearing this village apart. There's still a kind person, and that my brother is still in there, but you get a lot of anger, you get a lot of violence. Holy cow, the violence in this issue is absolutely tremendous. So this is, I believe is this a 5 or 6 issue series,
Oh
Nicholas?
shoot, meat's gonna kill me. Probably, I think it's 6.
I
If I'm
think it
not
is 6. Yeah. So, like things are moving now. Things are cooking. So I mean, I never want a series or an arc to end quickly, but I think that just speaks to how well they are doing, because I want it now, right? I want to see how this story ends, because I'm so invested, in Danielle and the Wardens in general, because they're their own wild cast of characters.
Yeah.
But this was just another excellent issue in this series.
Hell yeah. All right, let's move over to IDW. We got TMNT Night Watcher issue 3, Monster High New Scarmaster issue 3, and then My Little Pony Classics Reimagined, the Odyssey issue 1. This is by Megan Brown and Jenna Ayub. What do we got from Vault?
Vault. I was about to say Kid Moron. We have Kid Maroon issue 1. This is written by Christopher Cantwell with art by Victor Santos. And from Distillery, actually, hold that thought. I'm going to do 2 real quick. From Titan Comics, we have Conan, the Battle of Blackstone, issue 3, and RuneScape, Untold Tales of the God Wars, issue 1. That's written by Ryan O'Sullivan and with art by Sid Kotian. And from Dynamite Comics, we have Gargoyles Quest, issue 4, Hercules, issue 6, Barbarella, issue 2, Red Sonja, Death and the Devil, issue 3. We have a DuckTales issue 1 written by Brandon Montclair with art by Tommaso Ronda. And going back to Distillery, we have One for Sorrow issue 1 written by Jamie McKelvey with art by Cecile Richard. And you have already called dibs on this one, Nicholas.
I have. I have not taken a look. Obviously, we do not get review copies from Distillery, but I've seen the art for this for so long and just been like, and Jamie McKelvey, of course, was the artist on the what am I'm blanking on the title with Wicked and Divine with Kieran Gillen. I mean, obviously a very talented artist. I've just seen some of the imaging I've seen her on this. Like, this just looks like it's so much up my alley. London, 1900. The capital hums with the energy of the new era, but something darker lurks beneath the surface. I mean, yeah, like that, like London around that time for me, where it's dark and dingy, like just after World War One or just before World War One or the Great War, like that I have a ton of interest in that sort of stuff. So just that alone, just to add a little more though, a monstrous figure stalks the city's criminals underworld at night, leaving a trail of bloody corpses in its wake. Rumors about the mysterious killer spread like wildfire. It's a demon, a phantom, an angel of Venice. A vengeance. Nothing can kill it. Sorry, I was thinking back to my trip. But yeah, so I'm very excited for One for Sorrow. I've got a couple. We've only done one Distillery book on the show. You have dibs on at least one. I have a couple that I have dibs on. So this is adding to the pile, and this might be the one I'm most excited about so far. We've gotten a couple first issues and I've enjoyed those, but like going into the series, like obviously with Stegman's, like we had Ryan on and we talked to him, and like just having him on and knowing his work. But this one, like just conceptually, I think I'm even more excited than I was for that. And I forget what the other one was. It was anyways, moving on. So yeah, that's it from Distillery. That is it for this week. As we move forward with the Solicit, we move on to week 2. So this will be the week of the 13th, the second Wednesday in November. We only have 4 Wednesdays in November, so it'll be nice and tight, hopefully, this week. But take us through Marvel, Joe.
All right. Kicking things off, we have The Amazing Spider-Man issue 61, Ultimate X-Men issue 9, Uncanny X-Men issue 5, Venom issue 39, Deadpool issue 8, The Spectacular Spider-Man, I actually said that one correctly, issue 9. Nyx, issue 5. Captain America, issue 15. Werewolf by Night, issue 4. Venom War, Wolverine, issue 3. Venom War, Deadpool, issue 3. Conquest 2099, issue 3. And Ewoks, issue 2. And then the number one, a light month so far for new issues from Marvel. We have Psylocke issue 1, written by Alyssa Wong with art by Vincenzo Caratu.
Now, I'm not calling dibs on this because I don't want to like take the opportunity from you to like possibly read this, but I am ecstatic about Psylocke, like seeing her get her own title. We're also seeing that with Magic, obviously Negasonic Teenage Warhead too. Some of these other female characters that are in Marvel that have interesting elements to them, but maybe haven't gotten their own title or haven't gotten as many solo titles. I'm very excited to check this one out because like Psylocke's just such a badass character. Moving over to DC, we got Absolute Batman issue 2, Action Comics 1075, Green Lantern issue 17, Batman and Robin issue 15, Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age issue 6, though, title that I've seen the most buzz about that neither of us are reading. Batman Dark Age issue 6, DC versus Vampires World War V issue 4, Multiverse Collision Detected issue 5, Wayne Family Adventures issue 138. And then for first issues, we got Batman Uncovered, which is a collection of Batman covers. That's by, we got Capullo in there, Jim Lee, Mikel Janin, Jorge Jimenez. And then for first issues, we also got Black Lightning issue 1. This is by Brandon Thomas and Fico Ossio, who we've been loving his work on Kill All Immortals, and obviously before that, but particularly been crushing it over there. What about from Image?
So from Image and Skybound, we have Transformers issue 14, Radiant Black Ultimate Edition issue 30, Witchblade issue 5, Black Cloak issue 10, Violator Origin issue 3, Sam and Twitch Case Files issue 8, Precious Metal issue 6, The Domain issue 5, Lady Machina. Did I say that correctly, Nicholas? I always butcher that one. I can't read that for some reason.
You know what? We say Mechanica sometimes, but I also think Machina's probably right too. Like, we're never going to get it right. Sorry.
No, especially me. The Devil in the Lake issue 3, Rifters issue 6, and then the number one that's dropping this week. I am very excited about G.I. Joe issue 1, written by Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Riley. Conrad Hauser, codenamed Duke, has assembled a special force known as G.I. Joe to battle the rising power of the mysterious Cobra in the aftermath of the Autobots and Decepticons' arrival on Earth. So now we're officially getting the Duke miniseries was excellent. The Scarlet miniseries was excellent. The Cobra Commander miniseries, excellent. The Destro miniseries, excellent. Transformers has been the one that's been ongoing, and that's really, and Void Rivals, which is tying these two things together, these two properties together really well. So I can't wait to now have G.I. Joe in there, just kicking butt with all these other books. Like the Energon universe has been one of my favorite things to read over the past year.
So don't need to figure this out now, but I've only read Duke and Transformers. I feel like you should do an episode when we do a mainline at some point on one of those titles. Use it as a chance to talk about all the other ones. Maybe you take dibs on G.I. Joe, something to that effect. We can short that out another time. But you've been loving it. I haven't moved on it. I haven't, like, Duke's the only one in Transformers that I stand on top on. I'm not reading Void Rivals either. So there's a ton of options there, and I really feel like that's an example of like what this show's for. Like I chose to not read those things, and now you need to tell me how I'm an idiot.
Well, I'll tell you, you don't need me to do mainline episodes to tell you that, Nicholas.
Yes, the people know that all too well. All right, let's see. From Boom, we got Minor Arcana issue 3, the best Jeff Lemire story ever, and Joe has to wait to read it. I Heart Skull Crusher issue 7, Garfield issue 4, Power Rangers Prime issue 1. This is by Misty Flores and Michael YG, and then Wind, The Power of the Blood. This is James Tynan IV and Michael Dialnas. I'm not saying his name right, but
I can't even pronounce it quickly.
You talked about Wind on the show before, right?
I sure as heck have, Nicholas.
Yep. So this is the final chapter. of Wind. So that'll be some big stuff there. Nothing from Dark Horse in this upcoming week, it appears.
Oh, that has to be an absolute
Okay,
massive
you
mistake
look
by
for that.
me.
You look for
So I
that. I'm
will
going to
pull
take us
that up.
through Mad Cave real quick. We're supposed to be getting the second issue of Dark Empty Void on November 13th. Very excited for that title. Been a little while since we got the first issue. Then we got the Mammoth issue 5 and String issue 1 by Paul Tobin and Carlos Oliveras. Joe's reading the Mammoth right now by Paul Tobin, and you also may remember Paul Tobin from Bunny Mask, which is, of course, an Aftershock title I don't think people can get their hands on, which is a friggin' sin. All that stuff's terrible, but that is the one that frustrates me the most. But were you able to track down what's out
I
from
was.
Dark Horse?
What a boner by Doc. Holy cow. So we have Helen of Windhorn, issue 6. Masters of the Universe, TMNT, Turtles of Grayskull, issue 2. Swartha, Echoes of Fear, issue 3. Arcbound, issue 1. Arcbound, issue 1 is written by
That's Snyder
Scott Snyder and Frank Thierry and
and
Tom Hardy.
I was gonna say, yeah, and
Yep.
Tom Hardy. You have dibs on this one, Joe.
With art by I sure do, with art by Ryan Smallman. In a future where Earth has become a barren wasteland, Xenotech harnesses the unmatched energy of chromium to assert its dominion across the stars. Yeah, I'm in, baby. We have Swartha, Dispatches from the Occlusion Zone, issue 2. We have Summer Shadows, issue 3. And we also have, speaking of Black Hammer, Nicholas and Jeff Lemire, we have Black Hammer Spiral City, issue 1. The Eisner Award-winning superhero saga is back in this earth-shattering story that's essential for all superhero and Jeff Lemire fans. So it looks like he is going back and revisiting the world of Black Hammer.
Nice. And that is it for Dark Horse for this
That
week.
is it for Dark Horse, yes.
And this just in, Dark Horse's Joe's on Dark Horse's shit list. That's not good. All right, from AWA, we have the final issue, right? This is the final issue of You and I, slated to come out the week of the 13th. No jokes about this week, because I want to see that come out so you can get that finale and talk about it on the show. From IDW, I'll take us through these next few, Joe. IDW, we got TMNT Mutant Nation issue 2, Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons, Sons of Giants issue 5. And then for issue 1s, we got Star Trek Lower Decks issue 1 by Ryan North and Derek Charm. And then Yars Rising issue 1 by Adam Tierney and Ashley Hetrick. What's the video game this is based on?
I've got no idea. It just said like based on a video game I'd never friggin' heard of. But
Okay.
And then the Star Trek Lower Decks, that's a cartoon, I believe. That's on one of the streaming services that's wildly popular. Netflix, I believe.
Nice.
Wildly popular.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. From Vault, we have Something Crawled Out issue 2 and Goobers issue 2. I've been waiting for Something Crawled Out issue 2 for a bit. I really like that first issue and called dibs on it. From Distillery, we have Time Waits issue 2, which is the Distillery book that Joe has dibs on. We have Life issue 3. Are either of us reading that one? I don't think so, right? Yeah, I don't think either of us are on that. And then the Big Burn issue 2, that is the other Distillery book that I have dibs on. So I got 3 going right now. From Titan, we got Minky Woodcock, The Girl Called Cthulhu, issue 2. Huge Detective, issue 3. That felt really weird to have right after that.
You were going to say something else. I know you were.
I was very much thrown off by that. That was like, wait a second. I was like, huge. That can't be right to have right after. But
Huge Wang? What?
Well, here we are. Heat Seeker Combustion issue 1, and this is by Charles Ardai, friend of the show, and Ace Continuado. Continuado. That's probably what it is. Probably Portuguese. Shame on me. Dynamite, we got Space Ghost issue 7, The Terminator issue 2, Johnny Quest issue 4, and then Barbarella issue 2, which brings us to the week of the 20th, the third week of November, Joe.
All right. Woo, get ready. This is gonna be a long one, folks.
Oh, wow.
Ultimate Spider-Man issue 11, Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 26, Wolverine issue 3, Daredevil issue 15, The Immortal Thor issue 17, Exceptional X-Men issue 3, Phoenix issue 5, Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu issue 2, Storm issue 2, Spider-Gwen The Ghost of the Spider issue 7, Scarlet Witch issue 6, Phases of the Moon Knight issue 4, Spider-Man Reign 2 issue 5, Sentinels issue 2, Predator vs. Black Panther issue 4, Avengers United Infinity Comic issue 57, Avengers Assemble issue 3, Chasm Curse of Cain issue 4, Venom War Lethal Protectors issue 3, Marvel Zombies Dawn of Decay issue 3, and then we have a few number ones if 40 books that week weren't enough. We have Venom War It's Jeff issue 1,
There you
written
go.
by Kelly Thompson with art by Gurihiru.
I think so. That was
Oh,
wow. Good first try.
I think I
Wow.
nailed that one.
I do think you did.
I think I did. Star Wars: The Battle of Jakku, Republic Under Siege, issue 1. This is written by Alex Segura with art by Jethro Morales and Stefano Raffaella.
Real quick, big busy month for Alex Segura. But the Battle of Jakku stuff, like all of this, like I don't understand what the reasoning is behind all of that. But here we are.
Yeah. And then we have Marvel and Disney. What if Minnie became Captain Marvel issue 1, written by Steve Belling and Luca Barbieri with art by Giada Personato. Yeah. What if I actually read that book?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's not a book written for you. I'm surprised you didn't say like I might get this for Swaggins.
Yeah, she's not a big Minnie Mouse fan. She's not a big Mickey Mouse fan either. Although she there was a point in time she did like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, but never was really her thing.
Goofy's the best anyway, so I don't blame her for feeling that way. The kid knows she's smart. Takes after her mother. Anyways, DC Comics. We got Batman, Superman's World's Finest, issue 33. Action Comics 1076. Wonder Woman issue 15. Titans issue 17. Catwoman issue 70. Batman and Robin year 1 issue 2. Dark Knights of Steel all winter issue 5. Some must read stuff over there. Batman Full Moon issue 2 by friend of the show Rodney Barnes. Jenny Sparks issue 4. Batman Wayne Family Adventures issue 139, and then a couple of first issues, quite a few actually to note. Going back to Batman and Robin, we got year 1 Noir edition for those who want to collect that. Then we got Renaissance of Raven issue 1 by Cinna Grace and Carola Borelli. Then Milestone Universe, The Shadow Cabinet, issue 1 by Joseph Illidge and Daryl Banks. And then there's The Question, All Along the Watchtower, issue 1, another Alex Segura title with art by Cyan Tormey. Of all the titles, I think The Question would probably be the one that I would check out here. I might be interested in Raven too, because she gets into similar shit that I'm generally interested with Heaven and Hell. But either way, they're not ones that are like pulling me in big time. But we'll see how the rest of the week shapes out. Actually, taking a quick look at Image as you get into it, Joe. There's one title that I'm particularly excited for.
Yeah, so with that Image Skybound, we have The Department of Truth issue 27.
Yep.
Geiger issue 8. Ice Cream Man issue 42. The Power Fantasy issue 4. Oh, that's another thing I caught up on was the Power Fantasy.
Nice.
The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 101. The Moon is Following Us issue 3. Yes, I read issue 2. Okay, I just had a fucking brain fart. Jesus, Joseph.
That was another one that you missed the first issue while you were away.
Yeah.
Everything happened while you were away. I don't know if you know that.
It did. It was a gem of the week for me.
That's right.
G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 311. Rogue Sun, issue 23.
Hell yeah.
Rat City, issue 8. Standstill, issue 4. That is a wild series.
Have you been enjoying it? Because you did take dibs on that one.
Yeah. Wild. Nice. Absolutely wild. Convert, issue 4. Cowl, 1964, issue 3. Null Hunter, issue 2. Dead Eyes, The Empty Frames, issue 3. Star Signs, issue 8. Holy cow. It's been a hot minute since I've read that book. And then the number ones we have this week are the Rocket Fellers, issue 1, written by Peter J. Tomasi with art by Francis Manipal. Love Francis Manipal's art. And the Horizon Experiment, Moondogs, issue 1, written by Tanarav Dew with art by Kelsey Ramsey.
With the Rocket Fellers, we're going to see another thing from Peter J. Tomasi this month, but the Rocket Fellers is part of the Ghost Machine over at Image as well. So for those who've been enjoying Rook, Redcoat, Geiger. Hyde Street now, which has started up recently. That's another title that's being produced by that same like imprint at Image. Moving over to Boom, we got House of Slaughter issue 27, Lawful issue 5, which is a book that Joe has dibs on and has fallen into that category for me, at least based on the way that you've talked about it and some of the images I've seen from it. It's like that's part of like that FOMO grouping for me. That's like I cannot wait for you to talk about that on the show. So
It's a Nick book. It's a Nick book.
Okay. Vicarious issue 2 by friend of the show, Ryan Parrott. We've talked about that first issue. Had a lot of fun with that one. Sir issue 4, which neither of us have checked on. I feel like I see that one get a lot of buzz again. It's another one where it's like maybe one of us needs to make a move, but I feel like I said that with issue 3 and neither of us did shit. And then we got another Firefly title, Firefly Zoe Elaine Year 1 issue 1. This is by Sam Humphries and Giovanni Fabiano.
So from Dark Horse, we have Swartha, issue 12, The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos and Cubed Ice, issue 13, Paranoid Gardens, issue 5. That's another bonkers series.
Right.
Arkham Horror, The Terror at the End of Time, issue 3. That's written by Cullen Bunn. That's been an excellent series so far. Cyberpunk 2077, Kickdown, issue 4. Prodigy, Slaves of Mars, issue 4. Where Monsters Lie, Cul-de-sac, issue 2. Yes, please. Jupiter's Legacy, Finale, issue 2. Seance in the Asylum, issue 2. Another excellent series.
Yeah.
The Masked Mocker.
We do this every time. We do this every time. MACHER, people.
Yeah. No. Anyways. And then the number ones from Dark Horse. We have Imbokodo, issue 1, written by Thabdo Rametsi and Thibaso Mabana, with art by Katlago Moton.
I think you got most of that right.
I God, I hope so. I don't mean to screw names up, I promise. We have Barstow, issue 1, written by Rebecca McKendry and David Ian McKendry, with art by Tyler Jenkins. And then we have You Never Heard of Me, issue 1, written by Yolanda Zanfardino, with art by Elisa Romboli. Dark Horse. Holy cow. They're like, you know what? Doc really fucked us in week 2, so we're gonna get back at him in week 3.
Yeah, but so we obviously try and check out a ton of Dark Horse stuff. So this is a huge week for them.
Yeah,
like
massive.
Dave, we've been talking a lot about how big of a year them and Mad Cave have been having. And Mad Cave, obviously, on the smaller end of things in terms of how much they put stuff out, because they haven't been in the game as long as Dark Horse or some of these other companies have. But Dark Horse, I feel like from a volume standpoint, is like starting to take steps and putting out quite a bit more. It's blowing me away, and I love to see it. And obviously, we've talked about just how good their content has been. Their stories have been great. Whether you're talking about their IPs or their that they have deals with, or their creator-owned stuff. So it's been all around. Like, we're seeing a lot of good stuff come from Dark Horse end of the spectrum. Speaking of Mad Cave, we got Flash Gordon issue 4, Mugshots issue 4, The Body Trade issue 3, Galaxy of Madness issue 5, and then Spectrum issue 1. This is written by Rick Quinn with art by David Chisholm. We got another first issue from Mad Cave. I think we mentioned one a second ago in week 2, but I think there's one in week 4 as well. So maybe you and I need to take a look and see if we want to split some things up before we dig into those. But what about I'll take us through these other ones, Joe. We'll go quick here. IDW, we got Star Trek issue 26, Godzilla Skate or Die issue 5, My Little Pony, The Storm of Zephyr Heights issue 3. Then we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Naruto issue 1. This is by
Naruto. That's going to be a big book.
Is that how you say it? Because I was talking to somebody the other day and they said
maybe it is Naruto. I have no idea. I say Naruto, but I'm
not correcting you. I don't know. Like I say not like, you know what? Honestly, why we have Shime? Why the fuck are we not? Why haven't we done that? But anyways, yes, this is going to be a huge book. Like, we're not Naruto guys, Naruto, however you fucking say it. But obviously a huge title, and this could be huge for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in general, because you're going to bring in new readers for this.
I had a friend reach out to me months ago when this was announced, said, "Is this a real thing or is this a joke?" And I said, "Nope, that's a real thing. That's going to be a real book." And this person, isn't from what I gather, isn't a huge comic book reader, but a big manga person, right? And so like
Oh,
that's gonna be a big one.
yeah.
It'll be a big one, baby.
Yeah, we just need to like finding ways to further like I don't know how often. I mean, how often have we ever seen manga and comics cross over in that sense?
Oh, I'm
Like
sure. I'm sure
with
there
character,
has.
I don't. I mean, we've seen like comic book characters be have stories told
W-
in manga, but
We probably don't notice it that much because we're not big manga guys, but I'm sure it's happened quite a bit. We're just not aware of it because of we didn't recognize the property, or maybe it's that and
that's
the
a fair
smaller
point.
property we're not we're not familiar with, or but
Either way, this one's massive. Like, we're dealing
it's
with
a big
2
one.
massive ones. This is huge. Like, IDW doing this is huge for them, especially as they start their new TMNT run. But I'd love to see more of this kind of shit, just in general, because like this is the kind of stuff that brings over those manga readers, and it just they have their own shit going on, and they have good stuff over there. But it's like also like comics aren't what they were necessarily like, back when you were a kid. Like or maybe like even 10 years ago. Like they've taken a lot of step forward over the last 10 years and even over the last 20 years too. So this would be like this. I'm excited for this series for the potential that it provides. Then we got Sonic the Hedgehog Knuckles 30th anniversary special and Godzilla Rivals King Ghidorah versus Space Godzilla issue 1. They're doing so much Godzilla stuff. It must be selling well over there. We're not Godzilla guys. Then we got Lilith issue 2 from Vault. From Oni, we got the Autumn Kingdom issue 3, which you have dibs on it, right? Like I haven't. Okay.
Sure
Um
do.
Sectars issue 2, Sesame Street issue 4. From Titan, we got Doctor Who, the 15th Doctor, issue 4, and Blitmap issue 6. And then to round things out, Dynamite, we got Thundercats issue 10, Thundercats Chitara issue 5, and the Powerpuff Girls issue 5, which brings us, Joe, to the final Wednesday of November, the 27th.
It's Turkey Week, baby.
That's right.
From Marvel, we have the Amazing Spider-Man issue 62, Uncanny X-Men issue 6, Ultimate Black Panther issue 10, The Incredible Hulk issue 19, Iron Man issue 2, Venom War issue 5, Spider-Boy issue 13, Dazzler issue 3, Mystique issue 2, Spirits of Vengeance issue 3, The Battle of Jakku Republic Under Siege issue 2, Avengers United Infinity Comic issue 58, Blade issue 2, and we have West Coast Avengers issue 1, written by Jerry Duggan with art by Danny Kim.
Yep. And I will note too that Spirits of Vengeance might be something like you guys like, well, Nick, especially, why aren't you reading that? But both of us, like, we loved Ghost Rider. No knock on it. We haven't actually given it a look, but for me, like, I really would have liked to see Benjamin Percy on that title. Maybe I should go back and give it a look. I was kind of like, why are they not doing more with Benjamin Percy on that? But he's got more to come at Marvel that we are particularly excited about. But we can't be speaking about things necessarily on the program. But I did want to let the people a little insight there. As for DC, we got Detective Comics 1091, Nightwing 120, Superman issue 20, Action Comics 1077, Absolute Wonder Woman issue 2, Green Arrow issue 18, The Flash issue 15, Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween issue 3, Harley Quinn issue 45, Batman The Brave and the Bold issue 19, excuse me. Power Girl issue 15, Multiversus Collision Detected issue 6, Batman Wayne Family Adventures issue 140, and then we got a few first issues. We got Black Canary Best of the Best issue 1. This is by Tom King and Ryan Sook. Then we got Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns issue 1. This is by Jeff Parker and Lucas Kenter. And then we got Justice League Unlimited issue 1, and this is by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. I'm sure people are going to be checking this one out. You have one of those two individuals on a title, people are going to be checking it out. But to have both of them, and then couple it all with it's the friggin' Justice League, that has potential to be a series that a lot of people give a look. What do we got from Image?
So from Image and Skybound, we have Void Rivals issue 14, Spawn issue 359, Universal Monsters of Frankenstein issue 4, Hyde Street issue 2, Feral issue 8, Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, issue 6. Grommets, issue 6. Ultra Mega, issue 7. Napalm Lullaby, issue 7. Creepshow, issue 3. Knights, issue 12. Knights for Samurai, issue 3. The Tin Can Society, issue 3. Now, I just read the Tin Can Society, issue 1. Is that supposed to be issue 2?
I don't think so. I think issue 3. No. Yes, what happened? You read issue 1, and then I like that was the week the second issue dropped. I think there's another one that you were late on in some
I have to
capacity.
check that. I have to double check that because Savage Dragon issue 273, Violent Flowers issue 3, Hornsby and Halo issue 1, written by Peter Tomasi with art by Peter Snellberg.
From Boom, we got Hello Darkness issue 5,
My
Dune
friend.
House Carino issue 8, Red Before Black issue 3. It's been a while, I feel like, since we got an issue of Red Before Black, and then Jim Henson's Labyrinth issue 3.
From Dark Horse, we have Anansi Boys issue 6, Space Usagi, White Star Rising issue 2, The Carlisle School for Kings issue 2, and then number ones, we have The Serpent in the Garden, Ed Gray in the Last Battle for England issue 1, written by Mike Mignola with art by Ben Stenbeck. And we have Welcome to the Maenad, issue 1, written by James Robinson with art by Jay Bone.
Yeah, that would the Mignola title is a bit of a mouthful.
Tighten it up. Tighten it up.
From Mad Cave, we got Gotcha Man issue 5, Gotcha Man Galactor issue 4, Murder Kingdom issue 2, Soul Taker issue 5, and then this was the other one that I was thinking of, Synap issue 1. This is by Chris Moses and Andrea Gianni.
Gotcha.
Oh, you muted yourself.
Oh, sweet Jesus, Joseph. Okay. From IDW, we have TMNT issue 4, the Faded Donatello issue. Can't wait for that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, baby. TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures issue 19, Star Trek Defiant issue 21. From Vault, we have Something Crawled Out issue 4 and Goobers issue 3. You know what, Nicholas? I'll do you a favor. I'll take us through the rest of these.
Please do.
From Oni Press, we have Rick and Morty Super Special Holiday Extravaganza issue 1, written by Alex Friar, with art by Warren Wuchinich. From Titan, we have Conan the Barbarian issue 17. From Ablaze, we have Parliament of Rocks issue 2. And lastly, from Dynamite, we have Red Sonja issue 16, Lilo and Stitch issue 7, with a number 1 being Green Hornet Miss Fury issue 1, written by Alex Segura with art by Federico Sorisa.
So one quick thing, Parliament of Rooks. Just want to make sure we get that one right. And
What
then
did I say?
Rocks.
Oh, I got old eyes, Nicholas. What do you want from me?
I forget. Have you been reading the Conan stuff over at Titan? I feel like you did check it out.
I've got the not the Savage Sword of Conan, but there's a newer Conan book, and it's from Titan that I've been reading.
This is the Titan one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
No, it's not that one. There's only 3 issues of the one that I've been reading. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Gotcha. But I understand. Yeah, because Conan's in like the public domain sort of stuff, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, okay. Which actually, I think. Well, I don't want to spoil anything. Awesome. So that is it for the month of November. Those are all the books that we have coming out based on our research. Make sure again you subscribe to the show in audio form if you haven't already to get our Fireside Chats. You never know when one of those are going to come, and we will only announce them once we have them in the can, because we don't want to jinx ourselves, because we've done that a time or two previously. But until next week, Joe, stay sexy.
And don't forget, keep reading. Woo! Right? That's the tagline, Nicholas. Did you click the end?
I did.
For Pete's sake? Okay. It takes forever. It's freaking ridiculous.
Okay.
I don't know.
Strange.
Slow as shit. I don't think you clicked it.
Oh, an error. Wow, that's never happened before. It just said an error occurred, and the stream won't end. Going on forever, everybody. This is show must go on. What the